Thanks, Madam Chair. Very hard to fit everything in, obviously, in 6 minutes. Just for everyone watching at home, we have a couple of witnesses whose identity has been protected, obviously, for their protection. So you'll hear them referred to as Witness 1 and Witness 2. Powerful testimony on coercive control and the use of pets to Ms. Thompson. Thank you for bringing this testimony to light. It is a massive issue when we look at coercive control. Ms. Thompson, if I can start with you, you said in your testimony they protected him and not you. Can you explain who they are and how they did that?
Madam Dillon, that question was posed at you.
Okay.
Thank you.
What? Can you rephrase? Because I wasn't really.
Yes. So in your testimony of you talking about your abuse, you said that they protected him and not you. Can you explain who they are and what they did to protect him and not you?
Right. First of all, family members. They would say to me, just be quiet and do whatever he wants you to. I would be scolded. He would be praised. Secondly, the police did not protect me. They asked me, what did you do to incite the violence? What did you do to provoke it? And I found that another time a police officer just had his hands on his hips where his gun was. And I had just been threatened by a gun. And when I started to cry, he goes, well, your story doesn't fit, so we'll go. And he said, just don't waste our time.
Thank you.
And this...
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ms. Dillon. I think that helps clarify a lot of issues. Just because I have such limited time, was your abuser, your ex-husband, ever criminally charged with any type of abuse?
Yes, he was.
In a facility, or did he go to jail?
He did not go to jail. He was arrested, charged with attempted threatening to kill and assault, and he avoided that. He left the country, came back, and the case was thrown out.
Thank you for that. If I can move to witness number 1 and witness number 2, thank you for your courage today in speaking about your situation and honestly bringing to light to this committee as we study the criminalization of coercive control. I think we have a unanimous sort of understanding that coercive control certainly needs to be criminalized from the majority of witnesses we've heard, but there is concern around, ensuring that the abuser isn't using it to manipulate. And what I'm finding in these testimonies is there seems to be a very strong missing link of psychiatry in analyzing in the family court system of these personality disorders, because the very terms that are supposed to be used to protect folks are then turned against them, and then they are become victims of them. Witness number 1, can you just clarify how much money you had to spend based on court order for these forced therapies? How much money do you feel that you've accumulated in this?
Thank you for the question. Prior to the reunification camp, I know it was upwards of $50,000 between the various treatments. The reunification camp was $15,000 US, so that puts us at about 70. And then the aftercare was already up to $18,000 just after 6 months. So I would, with confidence, say it's approaching around $100,000 in court-ordered therapy.
This is, it's hard not to assume that somebody is obviously profiting from these court orders. Who decides the therapist? I mean, for you to get a court order and have to go to the United States rather than in Canada when you're Canadian, who is deciding which therapists are used to help these families?
Both parties will be asked to put forth submissions of recommended therapists. What will happen is that the recommendations put forth by the preferred parent will never be accepted. And then you'll end up always going with a therapist that's been put forth by the non-preferred parent, because you were told if you are not in agreement, you are further frustrating the process. It's looked negatively upon you if you don't cooperate and go forth with a recommendation that they put. So it is a therapist that's always put forth by the non-preferred parent, and then the court makes the final order on that.
I only have 30 seconds. I have so many more questions around that. But to witness number 2, a young girl, thank you for your brave testimony. You haven't seen your brother since this court order, and I'm curious how long it has been since you've seen your brother, and if you are allowed to see him.
If you could answer that in about 10 seconds, that'd be great. Thank you.
Sure. It has been over now. It has been since August 2023 that I have not seen my brother, and our order says that I am allowed to see him, but it has to be either at my father's residence or at a place agreed upon by my father. So I have not engaged in that yet, and I have not seen him since last August.
Thank you, Michelle, and all witnesses. Emanuela?